Hey guys, and welcome back to a new part of our mystery knit along. Today I'm a little bit sad because this will be the last pattern for our beautiful shawl, but I'm also very happy to knit this with you together. This is one of my favorite patterns. I actually said this also for this one, but yeah, this one and the next one, so I kept them for the ending. I like them most. And yeah, so this will be section 21, and we're going to increase the first stitch for a 1, and now we're going to repeat all the time: purl 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, purl 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, purl 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, and so on across the row. Have a nice evening, a nice morning, a nice weekend, a nice day, whenever you're watching this. And until next time, bye bye. So my last stitch in this row is a knit stitch, and then we can take off the 3 stitches for our I-cord and then turn your work. So row 1 was just a preparation row, and in row 2 I will show you the pattern, how it will work all the time, or what we will do all the time. The first 3 stitches are knit stitches for the I-cord, and then we have to watch out for purls and for knit stitches. So you can see here a purl. That means we're going to purl. And if you see here a V, a knit stitch, we're going to stitch not through the normal stitch, but through the previous row. So you go through the previous row through the stitch, and then you knit the stitch. Okay? Here's a purl, we purl. Here's a V, so we knit through the previous row. Purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, and so on across the row. So at the end of row 2 I had here the knit stitch, so this will be a purl stitch. You have all the time to alternate, and the last stitch here will be always a knit stitch. Okay, and then you can turn your work. And for row 3, as always, an increase, knit and purl, and then you have to watch out again. So we have here the knit stitches and here the purl stitch, so we knit here also not through the actual stitch, but through the previous row, and then just a normal purl stitch, knit through the previous row, purl stitch, knit through the previous row. Yeah, and this is what we will do from now on. And this stitch is called brioche. I actually know this with yarn overs, so you can knit brioche with yarn overs, and Strickkatze showed me how to knit this with these stitches, which are a little bit downwards. And if you like to knit combined, I think this method to knit brioche will be great. So don't forget all the time at the beginning the increase, and at the end of the row we have our 3 I-cord stitches, so we will knit them as always. Don't forget this, and in between you will have the time, all this alternation. We won't do anything else, just the special knit stitch and the purl stitch. So, and this is our brioche pattern, our last pattern. These are 41 rows at all, one base row, which we started, and 40 rows brioche. And what is important now, that your last row is the row where you skip the last 3 I-cord stitches. So your I-cord border should be here. This should be your last row, because it will continue with an I-cord bind off, and we will continue with the I-cord. So we will join, or we will continue this I-cord, which we have here on the side, across the last row. Of course, you see I have enough yarn, so I could knit more rows. You can also enlarge your shawl by knitting more rows. If you do not have so much yarn left, you can also knit less rows. It doesn't matter. So you can knit as many rows as you like. And yeah, now let's cast off. And the I-cord bind off works like this. So you knit 1 stitch, you knit the 2nd stitch, and then you knit the 3rd and the 4th stitch through the back loop. So on the back side, I'm going through the 3rd and through the 4th stitch, grab the yarn, pull up a loop, and take off. And then you bring it all back to the previous needle. And then we start over again. Knit the 1st stitch, knit the 2nd stitch, and knit the 3rd and the 4th stitch together through the back loop. And then bring all the stitches back. This is what we're going to do now all the time. One more time. Knit the 1st stitch, knit the 2nd stitch, and knit the 3rd and the 4th through the back loop. And so on across the row, and you can see it already, you get here a nice I-cord border. And this is how our I-cord bind off looks like. So if you have 3 stitches left, we're going to knit the 1st through the back loop, then we knit the next 2 stitches together through the back loop, and then you pull the 1st stitch over the 2nd one like this, okay? And then we can cut the yarn. So I will make a large loop here and cut the yarn longer for sewing later. And then you just grab your loop and you pull the yarn through this loop. So you can do this also with a crochet hook, but you can do this also with your hands, as you see, and then you just tighten. Okay. And then we need a tapestry needle. And now I'm going to sew the end to hide the end, and for this you just go with your needle through your work and through the yarn, okay, then you just pull through Make sure it's not too tight. And then we're going backwards the same way. Just skip the first stitch here that it has an end. So it does not have to be exactly the same way as going through forwards. If you're going backwards, you can do it nearly the same. Yeah, and then you just cut your yarn. And that's it. And this way you can sew all your loose ends. And afterwards, what you can do, but you don't have to. I would maybe recommend it to block your work. So you put your scarf, you put your shawl into a bowl of water or into a sink, and you let it soak with cold water. Maybe hand warm water would be also okay, and you let it soak. And after this, you just push the water gently out of your work, and you put it on a flat surface, maybe, for example, on a towel or on blocking mats, and you just shape your shawl and then you let it dry. You can also use T-pins. You can also use them for blocking if you want to shape your shawl with more tension. You can find all the links down below in the description. And yeah, but actually you don't have this. You can also, if you like, you can wear your shawl like this. I hope this project was fun. So it was a lot of fun for me. Thank you for everyone who was participating or who is doing still now. So I'm very happy about seeing all the beautiful pictures with our hashtag Woolpedia. So I like this shawl so much. Thank you at Strickkatze for this gorgeous pattern. I love it really much, or I love it really a lot. And yeah, I hope it was fun for you, and I wish you happy knitting. So enjoy this pattern, enjoy our beautiful yarns. So of course, if you want us to make to hand make this gradient yarn for you, you can find us on woolpedia.net. So my hubby and me were doing all these color gradients by hand, and yeah, we would be very happy to see an order in our shop. And until then, happy knitting, and until next time, bye bye.